The woods behind Alder Ridge High had always been a place where secrets went to rot, where broken bottles glittered like false stars under the trees and rumors sank into the soil as deep as old bones, and that was why they chose it, dragging Mara Ellison by her backpack straps and wrists while the afternoon light thinned into a cold, watchful dusk, her shoes scraping over roots as the bullies joked too loudly, telling themselves it was all just a prank even as fear curdled in her stomach and her throat burned from begging, because they had decided weeks ago that she was an easy target. The quiet scholarship girl with thrift store clothes, the one who answered questions too smartly in class, the one who didn't belong. And when they reached the clearing where a shallow pit gaped like a mouth already fed, they shoved her down and started scooping dirt with shaking hands, laughing harder as if noise could drown out the truth of what they were doing, not knowing that 200 yards away, crouched behind a fallen cedar, Chief Petty Officer Daniel Cross, retired Navy SEAL, had frozen mid-step with his K9 partner Ghost, a sable German shepherd trained to read the world like a map of scents and silences, because Cross had come to these woods for peace, for the discipline of movement and breath that kept the war from clawing too loudly at his sleep, and Ghost had gone rigid, ears forward, a low vibration in his chest signaling danger, and in that instant Cross's past snapped into focus, the instincts honed in places where mistakes cost lives, as he lifted his binoculars and saw 4 teenagers, a shovel, and a girl half buried and choking on soil. And time slowed the way it always did before violence, narrowing into a series of choices that defined who you were. And Cross did not shout or run because he knew panic scattered prey and made monsters bolder. Instead he whispered one word, "Stay," and Ghost melted into shadow, circling wide as Cross radioed local dispatch with coordinates and a calm voice that carried urgency without hysteria, then rose just enough to be seen as he stepped into the clearing with his hands visible, his posture relaxed in the way only people who truly understand force can manage, and the bullies froze, shovels hanging, their bravado cracking as Cross spoke gently, telling them to step away and breathe, to make the next right decision, and one of them, a boy with a varsity jacket and a mouth full of swagger, sneered and took a step forward, not seeing Ghost until the dog appeared at his flank like a living shadow, teeth bared not in rage but in perfect, professional warning, and that was when everything unraveled because fear is honest and it told them the truth they'd been denying, that this wasn't a joke anymore, that consequences had arrived, and as sirens wailed faintly in the distance, one girl dropped the shovel and started to cry, another bolted and slipped in the leaves, and the leader tried to run straight past Cross only to find himself face down in the dirt, pinned with a pressure that felt like the weight of the earth itself, while Ghost stood guard, unwavering, and Cross knelt beside the pit to pull Mara free, brushing soil from her hair and wrapping his jacket around her shoulders as she shook, whispering that she was safe now, that it was over, though both of them knew that survival was only the beginning of a longer road. And when the deputies arrived, the woods seemed to exhale, the bullies were cuffed and led away, and Mara was taken to the hospital where doctors documented bruises and dirt-filled lungs and a resilience that surprised even her. And the story should have ended there, clean and just, but life is messier, because in the days that followed, whispers spread through town, some people minimizing what happened, others questioning Mara's memory, and it would have broken her if not for Cross, who visited with Ghost and told her that courage wasn't loud, that survival was a victory even when it felt quiet, and he helped her family navigate the legal maze, sitting through hearings where the bullies' parents argued about ruined futures and boys will be boys, and it was there that the first twist revealed itself, because Mara's mother, who had raised her alone and worked 2 jobs, produced a worn folder containing letters and documents that showed her late husband had been a decorated EOD technician who died overseas dismantling a bomb that would have killed dozens. A man Cross had known by reputation and once crossed paths within a dust-choked corridor years before. And something in that recognition forged a bond that went beyond obligation. And as the case moved forward, evidence piled high. Phone videos, texts, soil on shoes, a trail of intimidation that painted a clear picture. And the bullies were charged, not with a prank gone wrong but with attempted murder. And the town reeled as the truth refused to stay buried. Yet the second twist came quietly when one of the bullies, the girl who had cried, asked to speak, her voice shaking as she confessed that the plan hadn't started as a joke at all but as a dare fueled by jealousy and fear. And she named the leader as the one who had escalated it, who had threatened them if they backed out, and her testimony cracked the defense wide open, leading to plea deals and sentences that echoed through the school hallways like a warning bell. And still Mara struggled with nightmares of dirt and darkness until Cross suggested training, not combat but control, enrolling her in a self-defense program where she learned to trust her body again, where bruises faded and confidence grew. And Ghost became her silent tutor in patience and presence, sitting at her side during sessions, reminding her that vigilance could coexist with calm. And months later, on a clear autumn morning, the third twist arrived when Mara stood in the same woods, not as a victim but as a witness, at a small ceremony where the town installed a marker dedicating the trail to resilience and community. Cross speaking briefly about choices and responsibility, Ghost lying at his feet like a promise kept, and Mara reading a letter she had written to herself, to the girl who had survived, promising to live loudly in her own way. And as applause drifted up through the trees, she saw the leader of the bullies being led past in custody for a separate violation, his eyes hollow, and she felt not triumph but release, understanding at last that justice wasn't about revenge but about truth rising like a seed through hard ground. And the final twist came years later when Mara, now a law student with a focus on victim advocacy, returned to Alder Ridge to speak at the school, telling a room full of students that evil thrives in silence and that help can come from unexpected places, that sometimes a guardian waits just beyond your sight. And in the back of the room Cross stood with Ghost, older now but steady, and as Mara finished, she caught his eye and nodded, because both of them knew that the woods had tried to swallow her once and failed, that courage had answered cruelty, and that somewhere out there, in another quiet place, a choice would be made again, and again, and again, until the ground itself learned that it could not keep what did not belong to it.